Have you ever wondered if a small act of kindness can truly make a difference? Let me tell you a story that might just change the way you see the world. It's a story about a young man named Youssef, a taxi driver in Casablanca, and a single rainy night that would ripple through his life in ways he could never imagine. It was a cold, stormy evening. Rain was pouring down, turning the streets into rivers and sending everyone rushing for shelter. Youssef was just about to end his long shift. All he could think about was a warm meal and his own dry bed. But as he was driving down a quiet road on the edge of the city, something caught his eye. Under a flickering streetlight, an old man stood alone, completely soaked, desperately trying to flag down a taxi. Car after car sped past him, their drivers unwilling to stop in such awful weather. It was late, the road was deserted, and the old man looked frail. Most people would have just kept going, but Youssef wasn't most people. He felt a pull, a sense of empathy for the stranger. He slowed his taxi and pulled over right beside him. He rolled down his window, and a gust of wind and rain blew in, but he didn't mind where to, sir, he asked with a gentle voice. The old man looked relieved, and a weak but grateful smile appeared on his face. He leaned in, his voice trembling a little from the cold. To the hospital, my wife, she's very ill. Youssef didn't need to hear anything else. He just nodded, opened the door, and helped the old man get inside, out of the relentless rain. He then drove off, maneuvering his old taxi through the flooded streets with skill and urgency, knowing that every second mattered. The city was a mess, but Youssef was determined. He navigated the chaos, his focus entirely on getting this stranger to his destination as quickly and safely as possible. When they finally arrived at the brightly lit entrance of the hospital, the storm seemed to quiet down for a moment. The old man turned to Youssef, fumbling through his wet pockets with a look of growing embarrassment. His face fell. He looked at Youssef, his voice barely a whisper. Son, I'm so sorry. In my rush to leave, I forgot my wallet. I can't pay you right now. He looked defeated, as if this was the final straw on an already terrible night. Youssef looked at the old man's worried face, saw the desperation in his eyes, and felt his heart go out to him. Without a moment's hesitation, a warm and genuine smile spread across Youssef's face. Don't worry about it, sir, he said softly. Go be with your wife. That's what's important. I hope she gets well very soon. The old man's eyes, which had been filled with worry, now filled with tears of gratitude. He was so moved he could barely speak. You are a good young man, he finally managed to say, his voice thick with emotion. God will remember this act of kindness. With those words, he turned and hurried through the hospital doors, disappearing into the building to be with his wife. Youssef watched him go, then slowly drove away. That night, he went home tired, hungry, and with an almost empty pocket, having earned next to nothing. But as he lay in his bed, listening to the rain, he felt something far more valuable than money. He felt a deep sense of peace in his heart. Years went by and life, as it often does, took a difficult turn for Youssef. His once reliable taxi started breaking down constantly, costing him money he didn't have. The rent for his small apartment went up, and his aging mother fell ill, needing expensive medicine that he struggled to afford. It felt like he was sinking, and no matter how hard he paddled, he couldn't keep his head above water. He tried everything. He sold small trinkets on the street. He borrowed money from friends, but it was never enough. Life just kept pushing him down, and the memory of that peaceful feeling from the rainy night seemed like a distant dream. The world felt cold and unforgiving. One morning, when he was feeling at his absolute lowest, a letter arrived. It looked official, sent from a law office in a fancy part of town. Youssef was confused. He thought it must be a mistake. What business could a lawyer possibly have with him? Maybe it was more bad news, another bill he couldn't pay. But curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to go to the address on the envelope. He walked into a polished, quiet office, feeling completely out of place. A well-dressed lawyer greeted him with a surprisingly warm smile and led him into a comfortable room. "Mr. Youssef, thank you for coming," the lawyer began. "An old gentleman, Mr. Hassan Al-Farouki, passed away recently. In his will, he left this for you." The lawyer handed him a thick envelope. Youssef's hands trembled as he took it. He didn't know anyone by that name. This had to be a mistake. With a sense of bewilderment, he opened it. Inside, he found a handwritten note. He began to read, "To the kind taxi driver who took me to the hospital on a rainy night years ago. You helped me when I had nothing to offer you in return. You couldn't have known this, but that night my wife was critically ill. Your kindness, your speed, and your refusal to take any payment allowed me to get to her side just in time. The doctor said those moments made all the difference. That night, you saved her life." Youssef's heart pounded in his chest as the memory of that stormy night came flooding back. The old man, the hospital, the feeling of peace. The note continued, "We were blessed with several more years together, thanks to you. I never forgot your face or your kindness. I spent years trying to find you. Please accept this small token of my immense gratitude. Hassan Al-Farouki." Attached to the note was a check. Youssef's eyes widened as he saw the amount. It was staggering. It was more money than he had ever dreamed of. It was enough to buy a brand new car, a small house for him and his mother, and even start his own business. It was enough to change his life completely. Tears streamed down Youssef's face, but these were not tears of sadness or desperation. They were tears of pure, overwhelming shock and gratitude. He looked up from the letter, his gaze distant, as if he could see the old man's grateful eyes right there in the room. He whispered to himself, the words catching in his throat, "Kindness. It always finds its way back." Youssef's story is more than just a tale of luck. It's a powerful reminder of a universal truth. The kindness you put out into the world costs you nothing at the moment, but its value is immeasurable. It can ripple outwards and change not just your life, but the lives of others in ways you can't even fathom. Youssef didn't help the old man because he expected a reward. He did it because it was the right thing to do, a simple act of human compassion. He did good when no one was watching, and that is the purest form of kindness. It teaches us that the smallest, most selfless acts can leave the biggest, most lasting marks. What you give from the heart, with no strings attached, is never truly lost. It becomes a part of the world, a light in the darkness, and sooner or later that light will find its way back to you. So the next time you have the chance to help someone, whether it's a big gesture or something as small as a smile, remember Youssef. Remember that your kindness is a seed. You may not see it sprout right away, but one day it could grow into a forest of blessings. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires.